destroyer. A poor plucky big three-side slayer. What a player, what a player, what a player. Discusses zinger bells and white balls to hells. Baggy greens for long from New South Wales. Is the RPL heaven or hell? Will the 100 fail or do quite well? What a player, what a player, what a player.
New Zealand have made it through to their first T20 final after beating the much fancied England, and it was memorable semi-final with some outstanding performances under pressure. Hello and welcome to Waadaplaya Concussion Sub, where we would be reviewing the first semi-final that is played at Abu Dhabi between New Zealand and England. England, after putting into bat after New Zealand won the toss, scored 166 thanks to a late flurry by Moeen and Milan, but New Zealand chased it down, tantalizingly close chase with 1 over to spare, thanks to an inspired innings by Daryl Mitchell and one of the best cameos from Jimmy Neesham. I have Suman with me. Suman, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Finally, a close match. It's not as close as we wanted, like a super over, but at least the semi-final excitement was there in this game.
Absolutely. I'm sure New Zealand fans would have dreaded any super over. So England, I thought, were reasonably well placed after scoring 166. It did look like at the beginning they were struggling. First 10 overs, they got 60 odd runs, but the last 10 overs, they made up for it, scoring 100 or 166 in a pressure game, scoreboard pressure. But New Zealand, thanks to that brilliant knock by Jimmy Neesham and Daryl Mitchell, like unbelievable scenes at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was banking upon Livingstone probably scoring like a fastest 50 and propelling them to like 175 something, which would have been, if you look at it hindsight, would have been a perfect score. I definitely thought that when England batted, they were quite slow to start with, which clearly costed them because they were short about 10-15 runs. And New Zealand bowling, Ashwin was treating Ravichandran Ashwin in our WhatsApp group. People were exchanging some pics that probably Mitch Santner was not used as effectively as he should have. And then what was also interesting today was Jimmy Neesham's day, right? He bowled the last over, which, including me, many thought that it's probably a tactical error by Kane Williamson because it could have easily gone for like 25 or so and could have put the game out of reach. But it all worked out. It was Jimmy Neesham's day. He bowled the last over, and everybody saw what he did. It was 250 plus strike rate.
Yeah, he scored like 27 of 10 balls, which was absolutely amazing because at a point in the run chase, there were 5 overs remaining, 60 runs to get. Livingstone came in to bowl a 3-run over, picked up a wicket as well. And then there was 4 overs, 57 required. And New Zealand got 57 in just 3 overs. So an over to spare. So yeah, absolutely, Jimmy Neesham. So coming back to the finger spinning point, which Ashwin also brought it up. And this is a classic example where two captains absolutely love matchups. Owen Morgan, everything is about matchups. Moeen Ali did not get an over. You had Mitch Santner, because there was Moeen Ali on the other end batting. He did not get Mitch Santner more than 1 over, but then he got Glenn Phillips to bowl an over. Jimmy Neesham got an over. So, and one more funny thing which I saw, which is the first for me as well, at the dugout, they had these numbers being signaled, like there's 1, 2, 3, so some tactical code words being messaged across to Owen Morgan. So I thought that was quite funny, but it all looked like sort of matchups. I don't know whether the New Zealand side could have done, England could have maybe scored more runs, or was it a tactical masterpiece from Kane Williamson? Because 166 after the loss of early wickets seemed a bit too much for New Zealand.
Absolutely. And we've seen previously England using code language to communicate to the players on the ground. But it'll boil down to, look, nothing to take away from New Zealand. Fantastic unit, perfect teamwork. I think they are led by outstanding captain, and we could see on social media, if you are following ESPN Cricket, for posted a picture that entire New Zealand team is celebrating, but Neesham is sitting down very serious, and Kane Williamson with a very nice smile. And Neesham actually tweeted a few minutes ago saying that the reason for my face basically is job not done. So that's what it means to that team. So nothing to take away from Kiwis. But coming back to England, this again goes back to Owen Morgan's captaincy, which he's also done with KKR. Agree that matchups will work, but I think there were quite a lot of tactical errors. I'm just looking at the scorecard, for example. Chris Jordan, such a poor over. Everybody knows that he's not a dead bowler. And then Chris Woakes had a terrible game. I mean, that last over, seeing his face, I really felt bad. And Liam Livingstone, 2 overs for 22, and then Mark Wood, who was expensive as well. So I think probably some decisions which Morgan took during the chase were quite appalling, and clearly it costed World Cup from them. It's not coming home, England.
No, so 166. I see. Okay, this looks to be a par in a league game, but because it's semi-final, I thought this is maybe 15 runs more than what it looks like. Guptill goes out in the first over, and then Williamson goes. As like that's it. But Conway and Daryl Mitchell, they just play and play and play, and it's like, okay, are they just digging up hole for themselves? Because 15, 20 runs per over in the last 4-5 is not going to be that easy. And then that over from Chris Jordan. For the life of me, I don't know why the Yorkers have just completely disappeared. They kept digging into bowl, and Woakes and Chris Jordan that over pretty much just lost it, because he went for a 6, then wide. It reminded me that he was bowling for Punjab Kings, not England, and almost a spectacular catch by Johnny Bairstow. But in the end, that over sort of gave the momentum. Jimmy Neesham teed off, and then that sort of rubbed off to Daryl Mitchell as well, because he was going at run a ball, but then suddenly something happened. He started smashing those sixes, and in no time it was all done.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris Jordan, unfortunate. Look, he's never a bowler you can rely when you're defending a total. He's probably a good bowler when you are bowling first. But Chris Jordan, again, I mean, it's a chance, T20 game, but you should give it to Neesham. I think he turned the momentum. New Zealand needed that kind of an innings. And it was similar. Conway and Daryl Mitchell were almost doing what Moeen Ali and Malan were doing, right? I think they both were almost playing dots and singles and doubles, and eventually they accelerated. So kudos to New Zealand, and they thoroughly deserve going into the finals. And unfortunate for England, they had a fantastic tournament, just a couple of bad games on the day when it mattered, and yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, and it's so difficult to predict what's going to happen in T20, because literally in a matter of 8 or 10 balls, the game completely swung. England looked in control until 36 overs of the game, and the last 3 overs, 4 overs, they just completely lost it. You touched upon the reaction from Kane Williamson and Jimmy Neesham. Just to show you how it reflected. So 15th of July, day after the World Cup final, we realized that obviously, Suman is back. As soon as I started talking about Blackcaps, the room turned dark. But so 15th of July, Jimmy Neesham tweets, "Do not pick up a sport if you're a kid. Pick up baking or something else. Eat, die at 60, whatever." That's how gutted he was. So I can completely understand. They are still, with that mindset that, okay, the still job is not done. That 2019 World Cup should have been theirs, whatever. But I can imagine what he must be feeling. There's one more step ahead, and it could be New Zealand or Pakistan. But yeah, this whole underdog tag for New Zealand, I don't get it now because they seem to be doing everything right in these big games.
Yeah, I mean, I'll check it out too. If you are watching our channel and follow our channel, you should definitely go and look at how well we have predicted. I will be doubtful if Akash, Vishak, Syed, me, or Sanjay predicted New Zealand going to the finals. But if somebody did, kudos, man. I think that's the credit to you guys. And Syed Hussein, luckily, is up and running and wants to chat with us. Revenge taken for 2019 World Cup. Sanjay, what do you think?
So this is quite tricky. Now I can imagine India being in the place of New Zealand 2019 World Cup. God knows what would have happened with all the ICC rules and whatnot. This would have definitely then been billed as a revenge. I don't think the New Zealand guys take it that way. I think they are such nice guys. There was a moment where right in the middle of the run chase, Jimmy Neesham, I think it was the 18th over, Jimmy Neesham hit a ball, Adil Rashid was bowling, and Daryl Mitchell sort of came in the way of Adil Rashid. It happens, they could have taken a single, but they refused it. That just sums up how good they are, and they wouldn't have had any sort of revenge or anything in their mind. So I think they took it as a game, but it's just the composure that take the game deep. That's what the great Dhoni says, and someone will crack under pressure at some point in time. This whole Blackcaps thing is getting on to Suman because every time he's stagnant, the light goes off. That's how high tech it is. But yeah, absolutely brilliant characters from the New Zealand team. Such a nice team. Yeah, like how would you even sledge those guys? How would you like pick up a fight with them? So ekdam meaty churi type. Literally, they got rid of England in those last few overs.
Yeah, I mean, team performance. I think that's what you can summarize. And Syed mentioned are the new ICC favorites. If you look at their World Cup final 50 over, and then Test Championship finals, and they went ahead and won it, and now T20 World Cup finals, and all with no fuss. What I really like about today, yes, New Zealand did win versus England, but it actually brought a level of positivity on social media also, because I could see that a lot of tweets and Facebook posts are all about cheering New Zealand, supporting New Zealand. So that's another reason why we should love this sport, because yeah, we are disappointed our teams didn't make, but we are happy that some deserving teams are moving forward.
No, absolutely. And if I was to say that New Zealand were our opponents, and if England was not playing, India was playing, and India 57 runs in 3 overs, no one would. New Zealand played brilliantly. It would all be like how bad the bowling was. Technically speaking, I thought that's what it was. I know Syed and a lot of people mentioned, why did not Moeen Ali bowl anything? And this again comes back to matchups, I think, because they had to. They had one left-hander, but I think because of Daryl Mitchell, they thought they'll just hold it back. But to be honest, Owen Morgan did say that they got them in a place where they wanted to be after 16 overs. Liam Livingstone got 2 wickets. He was bowling absolutely brilliantly, off spin, leg spin. And Moeen Ali, anyways, doesn't bowl at the death. The only thing I think they could have done is maybe Mahmood could have been held back to bowl at the death. But yeah, I mean, some of the hitting was brilliant. Some of it was bad bowling as well. It's a combination of few things, people cracking under pressure. So I would not go too hard because anyways, it's not India. So
I would have a different opinion. Actually, Morgan did miss the trick, right? Irrespective of Livingstone bowling, that was a bonus. He could have held back Jordan. He could have held back Mark Wood. He could have held back Chris Woakes and tried Moeen Ali. You got to try. You got to have presence of mind, especially on the knockout games, right? You can't always go by the book. I think that's one flaw which Morgan's captaincy was there, and we could see that in KKR too, right? So they played extremely well up until the playoffs, and we all saw what happened. So one thing I'm glad about is we got knocked out before the semi-final. If India were to be at the receiving end today, I could not have slept for another week.
Seriously, that Pakistan game still hurts. That New Zealand game still hurts. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to take. But yeah, I mean, I really want us to be in a position where we can celebrate someone like Daryl Mitchell or Jimmy Neesham. We've been grooming all rounders. These are not big players. Jimmy Neesham hardly gets a game in an IPL. Daryl Mitchell, I don't know whether someone will pick him up in the IPL. Devon Conway, Glenn Phillips has made it to the IPL, but these are not household names from an India perspective. That's why we all thought that England are, because almost 9 or 10 players play in the IPL. So everything for us seems to be IPL driven. New Zealand, perhaps it seems that they are always sort of an underdog because of the components in their team, but you cannot call them underdogs any longer. Any tournament you come in, they will be one of those teams who would always do well at the knockouts or in the ICC tournaments. I know no one predicted New Zealand to go through because everyone's like India will definitely go through, and Pakistan's probably too strong a team to not be going through in these conditions, which effectively is their home conditions.
Yeah, and the tweet of Wasim Jaffer sums it up, right? He says that New Zealand are a team like, we had friends in school who would say that I've not prepared for the exam, I've not studied up until the day of exam, and all they pass and we fail. So that's what New Zealand, no fuss, no hangama, nothing. Just come about professionally, do your job, and you win irrespective of which team is it. And they are proving to be the world champions, and hopefully we will see a new world champion.
Yeah. Although I must say that Morgan's not summed it up. Like they were happy with how they performed in this. The good thing is for all the teams, the next World Cup is around the corner. It's only 10 odd months. England again will go. I think that there's not much change that's going to happen in their composition. Obviously, the big injuries coming in at the wrong times. You don't have a Jofra Archer, you don't have Ben Stokes, you did not have Jason Roy, Timal Mills, their designated death bowler. So all that sort of adds up. But even then, it just goes to show they have a great bench strength for them to be able to come this way.
For sure. And they thoroughly enjoyed the match today. And Syed is pointing it out. If Jason Roy was missed big time, I don't think so. I mean, he would have made a difference probably for another who I don't think Jason Roy would have made much of a difference. But congratulations to Kiwis, thoroughly deserved, and they are into the final. So one last hurdle, and their hands will be on World Cup. So how cool will it be?
Yeah, just touching quickly upon, we did a preview of the semi-final as well, but very quickly. So we've looked at this game. It does look like the toss still is playing the part because it's a no-brainer. Everyone's just going and putting the opposition in. Although I must say, I did think that for the best part of the second innings, that having the runs on board had some impact in terms of the teams chasing. So do you think, Suman, winning the toss, winning the game will still continue, or any team that gets 175, surely that should be defendable in a big game?
For sure. Look, I'm again saying that in a 40-over game, toss should not be of consequence. Me and Anil Jain exchanged some animated pings as well about should ICC consider changing the toss rules after this tournament. Why would you change a toss when UAE is not prepared to host a tournament, right? In three grounds, if you're hosting like 30 games, pitches are bound to slow up, and pitches are tired when it comes to IPL as well. So I still don't think toss plays a big factor, especially because this is the highest stage, right? This is World Cup. You're expected to play in any conditions. You're expected to play any kind of bowling. You're expected to face any kind of batting. So I still think that it's a tactical game, nothing to do with toss. Probably there is an element of dew factor, which I agree that will impact the playing conditions, but Australia definitely will come hard. We have seen, and plus Pakistan has a dubious record of losing to Pakistan in 4 semi-finals, including 50-50 World Cup and T20 World Cup. So everybody knows where my loyalties lie, and everybody knows who's my favorite.
And then to make matters potentially worse, it does look like that there are some scare for the Pakistani players. There are a couple of them who've opted out from the training session today because they were not feeling well. So, I mean, hopefully it's nothing to worry in terms of COVID and whatnot, and hopefully they'll be able to feel their best side, because to be honest, they've been the best side on show, albeit in a slightly weaker group. So I hope all the players are well. We get to see a very good semi-final, and may the best team win. I got the first one wrong, but I think Pakistan should win this. This looks to be like their year to go through. But and I sort of want an Asian team to at least make it to the final, and then maybe New Zealand wins it. Who knows? But your prediction, Suman, I'm sure you're gonna go with your second favorite team, Australia, right?
Absolutely, no questions asked. And we'll be back after semi-final two also to talk to Sanjay to see if Pakistan made to the finals or no. But no, should be a good game. Should be a cracker actually, because Pakistan are in top form. Australia will come hard, knockouts, and they are peaking at the right moment. Hopefully, David Warner clicks. If David Warner and Aaron Finch go off on the top, whether they're chasing, whether they're setting up, we are in for a big total.
Absolutely, and this would be 80% Dubai stadium filled up with the Pakistani fans. You would see some yellow in there somewhere, but yeah, there'll be a big audience. This is not the ideal time for people in Australia to watch anyway, so the hardcore fans would be up. I'm not sure how many people in New Zealand woke up at 2 or 2:30 in the morning to watch the semi-final. Similar for Australia, it's really tough on them to be awake till midnight and past to watch their team.
Yeah, it's a good one, and I've also seen some tweets that 2024 World Cup will be in USA and Canada. So God help people in Asia and Australia, because the time zones are going to be messed up. Now, this is an interesting question which Syed is asking: will Australia get to win if Pakistan don't show up tomorrow? What is
Well,
your
so I'm not sure what the guidelines is in terms of because. It's a tricky one. I don't know what the rule says. It can't be that they simply forfeit a game, and this is not rugby, so it's not a contact sport as such. So I'm sure if there is someone who is COVID positive or whatnot, they'll allow a few other teams. There will be a team. There will be a match. This is what I think. But I hope that's not the case. I hope there is no scare in terms of any. COVID worries, and the best team possible Pakistan would be able to field, and the match will go ahead. That's what I'm hoping for, because we don't need anything of that sort to happen. We've had already PSL, IPL, one test match. सब इसके मत्थे चढ़ गया है COVID के. So we just want 2 more games, please, COVID free everything, and I'd be happy whoever wins. The tournament should just finish without any bad note, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Syed, thanks for giving us company. I know it is early morning in Bharat Ka Desh, so thank you as usual for the support, and folks who are watching, thank you, and click that like button.
Absolutely. We will be here tomorrow to do the review of the second semi-final as well. And if you haven't done so already, please do consider subscribing to our channel, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you very much. Thanks, Suman.
Peace out.